go with Alisa. Natürlich. And Vachevskaya goes with you. It was if Olga had to read my mind. Why's that? Well, who tried to blow up the monument? And as if that wasn't enough, who tried to slander Semyon? She said in such a voice that Alisa did not dare to argue. Happy now, she blurted once we were left alone. What do I have to do with this? Was it me who tried to blow up the monument? Alisa grunted and turned away. I'm not going anywhere with you. Oh, please don't. Great then. Excellent. We stood silently for a while, not looking at each other. I dared break the silence first. Is it all? All what? All that you wanted to tell me? Chemtrails! Yes, that's all. Do you mind, then, if I inquire why you tried to blow up the monument? I was bored. Ah, right, blowing it up would have definitely cheered you up. Alisa seemed really reluctant to go with me. As for me, however, I've decided to find Shurik after all. I wasn't him who interested me the most, but the abandoned camp. For some reason I had a feeling that I might find out something there. And I really did not like the idea of going alone at night. So, you scared then? Are you daring me? She gave me a sarcastic smile. Oh, no, I would never. Good luck if you're staying then. I turned around and started walking in the direction where the old camp should have been. Alisa caught up with me at the forest edge. Wait up! I'm going with you. Why did you deign to change your mind all of a sudden? I asked her ironically. Jetzt fängt es langsam wieder an, dass man die Konzentration nachlässt. Hey, ich habe ja noch Multivitaminsaft. Ja, das ist gut. Oh ja. Wenn ich hier schon keine Lachgummi habe, dann muss halt Multivitaminsaft her. You don't need to know. She snarled and handed me a flashlight. That was quite wise. I don't know what I should have done there alone in the dark if it wasn't for Alisa. Electronic had told us the old building was built right after the war. It looked like a kindergarten, or like a barracks, I expected, and definitely could hold a few pioneers in today's camp. It had been abandoned for about 20 years. The night forest was completely unlike during the day. Just a couple of hours ago, it seemed like just a small grove where even a blind man wouldn't get lost. However, as the darkness fell, the trees seemed to grow up. The bushes suddenly took up all the free space and the paths, so white in daylight, turned into barely visible waves in the dark green forest ocean. The final strokes to the picture were the birds, the insects, and the beasts, who were giving a concert, each with its own instrument, creating together an amazing yet frightening nocturnal symphony. We walked slowly, Alisa a bit ahead and me in her wake, trying not to fall too far behind. She acted self-assured to a fault. Absolutely not like me. Every rustle of bushes nearby, a hoot of an owl overhead made me cringe and look around timidly. Of course, it was obvious that there was not much to fear here, and the local woods weren't likely to be teeming with the wild beasts, and it seemed there were no people at all in this world, apart from those in the camp. However, the fear was there on the instinctive level, and I tried to walk carefully and to stay as watchful as I could. Das Screechen ist... Wie spricht man dieses Wort aus? Im Deutschen spricht man es Diskretion aus, aber... Das Screechen, egal, is the better part of valor, after all. Alisa stopped suddenly. So suddenly that I nearly bumped into her. Now, where? What? Well, straight ahead, I guess. Are you sure? I tried to figure out the directions. It looks like we were going we were going the right way, or at least the way suggested by electronic. However, without a map, without GPS or clonus navigation, I wasn't even sure that we were still on the same planet, wherever it was. We haven't taken any turns, we've been walking straight forward all the time, just the electronics said. Then why have we made it to the old camp yet? How should I know? Alisa's rude way of talking was already getting on my nerves. Are we already lost? Why would you say that? We are barely a kilometer away from the camp. So what? She looked visibly sadder. So, nothing. If you don't like it, you can go back. Alisa eyed me disappointedly for a while, and then her face changed sharply. Well, I will then. She suddenly turned around and started marching briskly towards the camp. Good luck there, I shouted as she was going. However, Alisa may be right, and we are in fact lost. In which case, it's not a good idea to stay here alone. The cool night breeze blew stronger, and I shivered. But going after her would mean losing face, even worse, admitting she's right. No, I'm not ready to accept that. I could have probably spent until morning arguing with myself about this, if it weren't for Alisa's scream. My legs carried me on their own towards where she went. About 20 meters on, I nearly fell into a hole, just managing to jump over it at the last moment. Was ist das für ein Geräusch? As for Alisa, it looked like she had not managed to. I was about to point a flashlight into the darkness when I realized that she'd taken it with her. Well, that had to be expected. Are you alive? Yeah. Her muffled voice sounded up from below. Did you break anything? Hell if I know, idiot! A light flickered in the hole. I stepped closer and bent it to examine how deep it was. The crumbling hole went about 3 meters into depth, but it was pitch black below. Help me get out! Alisa yelled angrily. And how do I mean... oh man. And how do you imagine I shall do that? I don't know. Think of something. Well, what do you see now? Describe it. Well, it's a sort of a tunnel and... Nah, just a tunnel. A tunnel? That's weird. Come on, get down here. Is that the best idea you have? I would rather run to the camp for a rope. You're gonna leave me alone here? Alisa's voice lost much of its impudence. But you're alone down there anyway. Hey! She cried out loud and directed the flashlight right into my eyes. Well, don't panic. Trolls aren't gonna eat you there. I'll be back in a flash. Alisa was screaming herself into a fit from down below, but I couldn't make out the words. However, I only managed to take a few steps back before the ground yielded under my feet. Before I knew it, I was tumbling down. I grabbed a thin root and somehow slowed down my fall. But it snapped under my weight and went flying down with me. Spooky. Was passiert da, Leute? Wo kommen wir da hin? You're alive? Ein alter sowjetischer Tunnel. Mit den typischen alten Kabelsträngen, wie wir sie auch aus Stalker kennen. I barely opened one eye, as if I felt a searing spotlight upon me. Dude, that face is fucking creepy. Dude. Das Gesicht macht mir gerade mehr Angst, als dass wir gerade diese Tunnel sind. Alter, irgendwas macht mir an dem Gesicht mega Angst. Sind es diese komischen großen Augen? Ich weiß nicht. Irgendwas an diesem Gesicht ist komisch. Ah, put it away. Alisa was squatting next. Squatting next to me and looking at me in a nervous manner. Any limbs broken? I don't know. I've moved my hand and feet, everything seems to be fine. Given the hate, I was pretty lucky to make it down alive. I barely managed to stand up and examine the crash site. Indeed, we were in some kind of long corridor. There was some kind of heavy wiring all along the walls, and lamps encased in heavy metal holders attached to the ceiling. In any other situation, I would have guessed that it's a subway service tunnel, but it was hardly likely a Soviet has already reached such level of infrastructure. Where are we? I don't know, but we have to get out of here. Climbing the crumbled wall was hardly an option. In fact, I was wondering how we even survived a fall from such a height. 3 Meter sind jetzt nicht so viel eigentlich, also. 3 Meter kann man doch gut überstehen. Well, it seems that we have got to find an exit somewhere else. Stop with this face. How do we do that? Alisa asked, slowly turning pale. Not a single trace of her usual arrogance remained on her face. Oh ja, jetzt wird sie endlich zum Mädchen. Well, I guess there's gotta be an exit here, right? Probably. But which way do we go? Now, that's a good question. At first glance, it seems like a good idea to head towards the camp. At least in the direction I thought it was. But I hadn't seen anything there that resembled an exit from the catacombs. And that means that we should rather try the opposite direction. Jesus fucking Christ! Es wird nicht besser mit den Faces. Ich weiß gerade nicht, warum ich das so gruselig finde. Ich weiß es nicht. Es ist irgendwie... keine Ahnung. Oh man. Give me that. I snatched a flashlight from Alisa's hand and pointed its light into the darkness. That way. I like it. We were slowly proceeding forward, with Alisa keeping a firm grip on my hand. In other circumstances, I might have been surprised, embarrassed, or even rejoiced. How should I know? But right now I was just eager to get out of here as soon as possible. My bruises from the war were aching. The blood was pulsing in my hand, like a heavy pendulum. Even the flickering spotlight that kept illuminating the same cement walls continually wasn't raising our morale. Damn, there's also Shurik. What? Why did we go into the night forest in the first place? To find Shurik? Oh, just forget him. He might have fallen down here just like us. Of course, Alisa has a point. This is exactly the best time to engage in a search mission. If we don't manage to get out, there would be a search mission for us instead. But I couldn't just stand my mind off this thought. It was as if Shurik was standing right before my eyes, giving a reproachful look. Look out! Alisa yelled. Oh, dude. Oh, dude. Sind wir zufällig gerade in einem Stalker-Level? Okay. I almost crashed into a massive metal door. A biohazard sign immediately caught my eye. Das ist kein Biohazard Door, dude. Das ist das Zeichen für Atomic Danger oder Radioaktivität. This means that we're in a bomb shelter. I mumbled under my breath. Yeah, I've heard of something like that. You have? Why didn't you mention it before? How should I know it will be important? I guess you're right. Fine. I grasped the door wheel and pushed it as hard as I could, trying to turn it. The rusty metal grated but refused to budge. Stop slacking, help me! Alisa hesitated a little, but then grasped the handle and started to pull. Finally we managed to turn the wheel and the door opened. Huh. Eine alte russische Gasmaske. Wie cool. It was hard to mistake the room we entered for anything else. It was definitely a bomb shelter. Cabinets full of gas masks and dry rations, lots of equipment, bunk beds, and air recirculation systems. There was everything one would need to survive a nuclear war. Well, at least to survive the first blast. Creepy eyes again. Alisa clenched my arm even tighter. What is it? What? She blabbered under her breath. I'm scared. What are you scared of? Indeed, what of? We will tumble down an abandoned bomb shelter. Now we're wandering here in the dark, trying to find an exit. Oh yeah, nothing to be afraid of. Those thoughts made me squirm and instinctively drew nearer to Alisa. Oh nein. Oh nein. Das Bild ist gerade so nah. Und wenn es jetzt so komisch guckt. Dude, ich krieg fucking Gänsehaut. She didn't say a thing. Just blushed a little and turned it back to me. Well, in any case... What? We have to keep searching for an exit. Well, there's another door. Indeed, there was a door on the far wall, just like the one that we came in through. However, no matter how hard I tried to open it, it was stuck. Need some help? Nope, it's jammed for good. I glanced around the room, trying to find something that would work as work as a lever and notice a crowbar in the far corner. Great. Alisa gave me a blank stare. Watch it! However, I still couldn't move the handle an inch even using the crowbar. Totally exhausted, I flopped on a neatly made bunk and gave a sigh. We have to walk back. But we just came from there. Alisa seemed to regain a bit of self-control, as well as her usual rudeness. Well, you can stay here if you want. There's water, ration kits, probably the radio's still working. She looked at me spitefully, but said nothing. My whole body ached terribly. It was only now I tried to relax that I began to realize how badly. A deep wound on my leg was bleeding profusely. My hands were heavily bruised and blood was thickening in my hair. And, are you okay? I asked Alisa, either just of curiosity, of courtesy, or because I was really worried about her. I took her some time to answer. How can we be okay in a situation like this? Well, I mean that... I pointed to the wound on my leg. Oh! Cried Alisa. We need to sanitize it urgently. No need, I'll survive. Oh, stop, we must do it, or you'll risk it getting infected, and then they'll have to take your leg off. My granddad lost his leg the way in the war. Alisa looked truly concerned, and I decided not to argue. Okay, but it's kind of a long way to the infirmary. Hang on. She smiled and started to rummage through the cabinets. There was a fair chance of finding some kind of medicine in the bomb shelter, and soon enough Alisa pulled out a first aid kit with a triumphant look. Okay, hold still. Well, I'll try. Treating the wound with an iodine-soaked cotton swab felt like the touch of a red-hot iron. Oh, I clenched my teeth hard and hissed with pain. Oh, come on, it's not that painful. It is! Maybe you should try it yourself. It was easier with my other wounds, and soon enough I looked like a leopard, all covered in brown spots. Thanks. Don't you think that was anything special? You just had to treat your injuries. Alisa snorted and turned her back on me. Tsundere. Sure. I refrained from arguing and got up from the bunk. Even a short rest had definitely even been good for me. Dude, ich hätte nicht erwartet, dass die scheiß Folge so lange geht, Alter. Ist jetzt schon 1,5 Stunden dabei. Wobei so ein Tag ja meistens tatsächlich 1,5 Stunden bis 2 Stunden dauert. Okay, dude. Even a short rest had definitely been good for me. Well, shall we go? Alisa clenched my arm, walking close in step with me. We headed back slowly, carefully looking for a hole in the ceiling. The tunnel seemed endless. We couldn't find the place where we fell down. Not after 5, nor even 10 minutes. Are we lost? Alisa asked sadly. It might be possible to get lost in the forest. It just came to me that's exactly what we had accomplished half an hour ago. So the refrain scaring her even further, I continued with confidence. But this is a single straight tunnel, you can't get lost here. So where are we gonna end up then? My words didn't seem to calm Alisa down enough. We'll get out of here, there's always an exit. Really? Of course there is. The workers that built it somehow got back up to the surface, didn't they? Yeah, I guess. It appeared that she was trying hard to look as bold as usual, but it wasn't turning out well. In the dim light, it was evident that Alisa was shivering. A look of extreme exhaustion was plastered on her face. Fine, let's move forward. Eine Zugstrecke. Sind wir jetzt im Metro? In a few minutes, I noticed a hole in the floor. It looked like a shell crater. Large enough to get ourselves through. What's down there? Hell if I know. I kneeled and pointed the light downwards. Damp ground. Some kind of rail tracks. Must be a mine. Alisa looked at me questioningly. Of course, we could easily sidestep the hole, but my instinct insisted that we wouldn't encounter anything good proceeding down the tunnel either. There would be either dead end or another jammed door. On the other hand, it was naive to believe that we would find an exit in the mines. We could give it a try, and the worst case would just come back. It's low enough to let us climb back up later. Her face took a suffering expression. Then Alisa turned away from the light and quietly said, "If you say so." As I thought, we were in a mine. Miles of rust-eaten tracks stretched far away down the corridors. I could virtually see the overloaded minecarts creaking along these tracks ages ago. The walls were propped up by rotten beams and water occasionally dripped from the ceiling. I wasn't sure whether it was scarier here or in the catacombs of the bomb shelter above. I would say that up there it was like a post-apocalyptic setting, and down here occult medievalism reigned. In any case, I was even more eager to get out of here and do as soon as possible. Alisa didn't utter a word after we descended into the mine. She just walked next to me, clenching my hand so hard I started to worry. "Are you alright?" "No," she said quietly. "I understand that it can be okay, but how are you holding up?" "Fine," she replied with that indifferent voice. "That's good, because..." I really wanted to say because if you go nuts too, it's gonna be a massacre. "Because we will find an exit. We'll definitely find one." "Yeah." It seemed she wouldn't last much longer. We should go faster. I quickened my steps and reached a fork after a couple of dozen meters. Oh, great. Well, so which way? Alisa seemed to have completely disconnected from the outer world and didn't worry about what would happen to us. How could we leave this place? Ich mag es im Übrigen, wie sie eine echte Bodentextur verwendet haben. Das ist witzig. Well, let's think. To the left or to the right? And what if we get lost? I decided to put a mark on the wall in case we get lost and return to this spot again. Soon a large cross scratched with a stone decorated one of the beams. So now we're ready to go. Okay. Nur mal zur Sicherheit. Der Pfeil zeigt nach links. Die Schienen... Ich sehe es nicht richtig. Ich glaube, die sind nach links eingestellt. Ja, weil der Pfeil zeigt ja auch nach links. Wir gehen mal nach rechts. It seemed that there is another fork in the road. Cool. Nochmal rechts. It seems there's another fork in the road. Wieder rechts. Jesus fucking Christ. Finally we came out of a tunnel into some kind of a hall with a high ceiling. Though it could hardly be called a hall. They must have used to mine something here. Coal. Probably, or maybe gold. The walls had been cut by pickaxes of pneumatic drills. This place was pitch black, so our only salvation was the flashlight. If it breaks, it's unlikely that we'll ever get out of here. I noticed a red piece of cloth in its light. It was a pioneer's neckerchief. Shurik was obviously here somewhere. Shurik! Shurik! Only my echo responded to me. Why are you shouting? It's not like he can hear you. You never know. Alisa didn't replied, just sighed. There was no other exit from this hall. Obviously, it's quite possible that there are some nooks in this tunnel we haven't checked yet. So we have to keep looking. It seems that there's another fork on the road. Okay. Wir gehen mal wieder rechts. Jetzt gehen wir links. Wieder links. Rechts. Jesus fucking Christ. Ah. Okay, jetzt gehe ich mal nur mal links. So we took our wrong turn somewhere. Let's keep on searching, was? Ah. Jetzt lassen wir uns nur links gehen. Ah. We came to some kind of miners' camp. Picks and helmets everywhere. A rusty wagon stood in the corner. All the items were so old, they dated from the beginning of the 20th century rather than the middle. Ich glaube, da wurde was nicht übersetzt. But I sensed that exit was somewhere nearby, and so we went further. It seems there's another fork on the road. Huch. Following the curve, I saw a wooden door in the torchlight. There you go, here's something. You think so? Alisa looked a little refreshed. Sure. Frankly speaking, I really wasn't sure that there would be an exit behind this door. But it wasn't likely we had any choice anyway. I pulled the handle.